Welcome back to another episode of Searching for MacGuffin with your hosts,
George,
Dan,
Gabe,
and Link.
and this week we have a lot to talk about. Why? If you listen to last week's episode, in our monthly, we had just come from a very special film that kind of precipitated this week's conversation. If you haven't seen it, I'm just going to start right off the bat.
Morbius.
It is back in theaters, actually.
Exactly.
back in
Yeah.
theaters. So
Bombed
you can't
again.
Go watch it.
Wait, again?
You
I thought
and
it
the
actually
other
made a bunch of money the
8
first
No,
time.
no.
Oh, that was a joke? It didn't really make a bunch of money the first
It
time?
came back on Friday and it made $85K.
Yeah, it did
So-
bomb this time.
You thought it made a more $1 billion?
That wasn't true.
That's what they were.
I thought it was
More
record-breaking.
$1 trillion.
But no.
This is what happens when boomers are in charge of Hollywood.
What is your agenda against, like, everything you have in your life you owe to a boomer?
They should retire and let the next generation lead.
Let the past die.
Yeah.
Okay, Kylo. But that's not what we're here. Speaking about letting the past die, that's a very interesting transition. We're here to talk about legacy sequels.
So holding on to the past.
Also, I didn't even mention what movie it was. Like, now our listeners just think it was Morbius.
Oh, it means that I should have to go back and listen to the monthly, huh?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Which, what was the title for this month's monthly?
Something with M's.
Melancholy.
Maverick, I think is one
I
of
think it
them.
was Merch
Melons?
Maverick and Melancholy.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Maverick being the titular character in the film Top Gun Maverick.
Are we allowed to say that word?
Maverick or titular?
Top Gun?
Titular?
Titty?
Titular?
Okay,
the
well,
title character.
I don't know. A titular is a word, but when you say titty, then
No.
That's what I
we're off
heard.
track.
I don't.
Is that a word we could say? Got it.
Titular, and I don't.
I
think
don't
we
know.
can say that word
bleep
actually.
it, bleep it, Dan.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can. It's fine. They make like merchandise with it.
But I'm gonna bleep you anyway. No one's ever gonna know what you said.
Exactly.
What
What is
is
gonna
it?
be like? I can't believe he said that.
I can't believe he cursed. No.
And this is a family show.
What is the legacy
For
sequel?
children.
A legacy sequel. That's a good question.
That is a good question because I have so many movies that I don't know if they're legacy sequels or not. So can you define for me what that is?
Well,
So I can figure out if these are legacy sequels or not.
I can read out a definition.
go right ahead.
A legacy sequel is a work that follows the continuity
disagree.
of the original work but takes place further along the timeline, often focusing on new characters with the original ones still present in the plot.
Yep, that sounds about right. I think it's also important that a true legacy sequel, to me, the time has passed in real life. You know, I don't know if that definition encompassed that. I know it says the characters have moved on in the timeline, but I think there needs to be like a significant amount of time that passed since that movie.
I do agree
I
with
agree.
that.
So, what were your thoughts, Link? What movies were you questioning?
See, now that Gabriel read that definition where the characters themselves in time has passed, I'm trying to think if they're legacy sequels that
That the characters don't.
no where they weren't released too far apart. You get me? Like
Right.
maybe
Like what?
like they
You
were.
can throw one.
I mean-
out
I
there.
don't know, that's what I'm trying to think of when I don't know.
Oh, okay.
What's the minimum amount?
Yeah,
of
what's the
time in
minimum amount of
between?
time that
That's
has
the
to be
There's not a
released?
set amount.
There isn't a set, but I feel like for me it's got to be like 10 years.
Yeah,
10 years?
I'm
I
saying like
agree.
if you're like 9 years off, then I'll let it pass. But yeah, like about a decade, I think.
Okay.
10 years plus
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a hard and fast rule.
with
but
some wiggle room.
I think it's also most of the time the characters have progressed because the actors have progressed. You know, it's like you can't make a sequel that takes place yesterday if the actors all look like 10 years, 15 years older. You know,
Yeah.
although
Unless you de-age them.
For example, right? I got one. I thought of one.
Wet Hot American Summer.
Infinity War came out what year?
2018?
18. When did Endgame come out?
2019?
5 years passed between. Is that considered a legacy sequel?
No, because
No.
it's not close to 10.
Yeah, first of all, that's too short based on our criteria, and then number two,
Our
We just said
criteria, yeah,
10
but the-
years.
But what about
Wiggle
the
room.
definition that Gabriel read?
It has to pass in real life and in
yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
content.
and also, I mean,
Because that's why I said,
I think those movies are 1 year apart, and like Parts of
'Cause
them were
that-
shot together, if I'm not mistaken. So,
It Part 1 and Part 2 wouldn't be legacy
all
sequels.
right, let's define legacy. What is a legacy, Gabe? You can look that up while I try to tell you what I think a legacy is. I think a legacy is harkening back to a time in the past. So for the sequel to be a legacy sequel, it's also building on something that came before. And I think part of that from a movie perspective is nostalgia, right? Sometimes we're into, like Independence Day resurgence. Like, oh, you guys remember that movie? Let's watch the new movie. Even if you're not like super passionate in love of it, there's like,
There's a Independence Day sequel?
are you didn't,
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
yeah.
I fell asleep in it.
We get our independence from Russia.
Wait, which Hemsworth is that? Liam? Liam is
Liam.
Yeah. The Hemsworth do a lot of
What?
legacy sequels.
Yeah,
didn't know that.
don't get excited.
I
it's
think
not
I
good.
may have
Yeah, it's
seen
not.
it.
We fell asleep.
No,
Will
during-
Smith isn't in it.
Did you fall asleep in it?
I think
I
I
don't
I
remember what
destroyed
happens
it
at the
from my
end.
Yeah.
memory.
I fell asleep
The
and
two
then I woke up
scientists
and
were
there's
in
like a
love.
giant alien in the desert or something, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
passed out.
I've never
They
seen it.
mention Will Smith though, right? The
Yeah,
character.
he died.
They don't.
His-
he
I
just
think
isn't-
the-
Okay,
It's the son.
I have
His
seen
son.
it. I just
Yeah, his son. is the-
eliminated it from my memory.
What about Jeff Goldblum?
Interesting.
I don't think he's in it.
What?
Right?
I think he is in it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
He's not the titular star?
No, he is not the titular character.
Titular?
Yeah, he is in it.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I can't remember a thing he did.
I remember him being in it. He's usually in.
I
those.
was probably asleep during that time. That was one of the first movies we ever watched at AMC Miami. That I don't know why I said it that way.
For real.
AMC Miami here in Miami, Florida. Shout out to AMC, formerly Palace 18. Those seats are so comfortable. And it was the first, like one of the first ones that I just fell asleep during.
Yeah, they are comfortable.
Yeah. So, did you look up legacy?
Yeah. The definition is an amount of money or property left to someone in a will.
Legacy money.
That's right.
Legacy.
Co-
money.
shout
I mean,
out Cody
I
Rhodes.
guess.
His whole life built on legacy money.
That's not
Um,
the definition I was expecting.
I mean, there's another definition. It was like,
Although that's true too, though, if you think about it, because it's just money on the table for
Yeah.
these studios.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's legacy sequels.
It's just like I own this movie. I might as well make another one.
is defined as something that includes all the accomplishments, successfully overcoming adversity, and this is really in depth. The things a person does and achieves throughout a lifetime.
And I think
I don't
that's
know
what
how
it
to
builds on.
apply
I
that.
think legacy sequels build on what the movies before them achieved.
Okay, that makes sense.
okay.
You know, so what we remember about those classic films. I mean, hopefully they're classics that they're coming back to. Sometimes they're not. They're just movies that happen. But they're
Bill
usually
and Ted.
Go ahead. Oh,
What?
Damn, what were you were
yeah,
saying
you said
something?
and then you walked away.
No, I said Bill and Ted.
Oh, Bill and Ted. Okay. So they're usually a movie that was like a cultural phenomenon, at least in the hearts and minds of like that generation. Usually be like, oh yeah, I know that movie. Even if like you're too young to have actually seen the movie.
Yeah.
You've like they're popular enough that like, oh yeah, that was a thing. I remember.
Question.
Yeah.
A cultural phenomenon in my time was Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
Are the Hobbits considered legacy sequels?
I don't know how many years were they apart.
I don't know.
I feel like the studio just kept making.
Are prequels?
Yeah, or
allowed to
prequels.
be
Yeah, because
legacy?
even
That's
look at
the
Star
real
Wars,
question.
right?
It's
Yeah.
a legacy prequel.
Yeah,
Legacy
legacy prequel. Look, but then look at Star Wars. You get
Uh-huh.
A pre-legacy prequel.
it's building on the success of the cultural phenomenon of Star Wars,
Yeah.
of Lord of the Rings.
I mean, I agree. Star Wars would be a legacy prequel because a ton of years passed, like literally decades between one. I don't know how much time was between Return of the King and the first Hobbit.
2003 and 2011.
8 years.
That's
It
not
was
as
getting up
much as I
there,
thought.
but that almost feels like they never stopped developing Lord of the
2012,
Rings
sorry.
movies.
2012,
9 years.
9 years. There you go. By your
Oh,
standards.
Yeah, okay.
I
It's
count
just
that.
about to hit. Yeah,
So would that be a legacy?
I mean, if it is, it sucks.
Legacy prequel.
I mean, I guess it's kind of hard for those like adapted franchises because it's like the Hobbit exists and they can always make it into a movie, so it's not like a surprise.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like it, especially like prequels don't feel like it because
There already is a story made, especially when it came out before the actual stories that you know.
right, and you're not revisiting those characters, kind of like how the Legacy sequel definition.
What are
Yeah,
you
it's not
talking-
like time has passed in like time hasn't passed for Aragorn and everyone there. Like it's just before.
time has passed for Legolas.
No,
doesn't pass for
hasn't passed
Legolas,
because it goes in
obviously.
reverse. It's a prequel.
It goes before.
Time has passed for you. He's gotten.
So the Lord of the Rings is a legacy sequel for the Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
That-
But
I don't-
before-
Can you
time.
say that? Can you say that about?
I guess
Vader?
you can say it's a Legacy prequel, but nobody wants to
I'd
talk
say it's a
about.
legacy prequel. Yeah,
Yeah.
I give it that. Even
Is that
I mean,
even? Is that a term? Or did I?
No, did we just make
come
the-
up-
you just make that?
Well, how many movies could that possibly like pertain to? It's like just Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. I'm sure there's 2 or 3 out there, but there can't be that many. Prequels isn't really like that much of a like practice. There's not that many prequels out there.
Wait, aren't the Star Trek movies technically prequels?
No, those are
Reboot?
Oh wait, they're like a reboot,
they're
right?
reboots.
Oh yeah, reboot versus.
but also time travel.
My multiverse.
Oh,
That's legitimately a multiverse film.
What?
The Star
I
Trek movie.
know.
Why?
Because there's a branching path.
Oh, because Leonard Nimoy is in one of them,
Exactly.
isn't he?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Forgot about that.
He gets transported through like a portal
I forgot
into
about
their timeline, and these characters won't grow up to become the characters that we're familiar with. They'll grow up to be branching paths
Mm.
and like race swaps, orientation swaps. Like they'll just and their history is just different. So
Endgame messed up time travel for me.
What about something like Spider-Man: No Way Home? Would that be considered a legacy sequel to the original Spider-Man?
no, I thought too far from
Too
home.
far from home, yeah.
Like 3 years earlier.
It did feel like an eternity though.
I'm gonna.
I'd say yeah.
Because
What?
it builds.
You say, yeah, are you serious?
Spider-Man?
It's building on the
To
success
the
of the
first
previous.
to
the
Toby
the
Spider-Man?
Toby
To Toby and Andrews?
Yeah, but it's not Spider-Man 4. It's not
I'll
Amazing
say
3.
Yes, with an asterisk.
Yeah, I'll give it
An
to it.
asterisk?
Asterisk.
Can we? Are you even allowed to say that?
Yes, we're allowed to say asterisk.
Is it not isk? Asterisk.
Isk?
Oh wow, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
Okay.
English is hard. Sorry. Tired.
No, I am not gonna lie. I won't leave you out to dry, Danny. I thought it was asterisk too.
Yeah, we should
I
get-
thought it was
Thank you.
asterisk.
Thank you.
You're such an asterisk.
Thank
What
you.
legacy versus reboot then?
Yeah, legacy versus reboot. How does that look?
What would be a reboot? We said Star Trek, I guess, is a reboot, but then
Ghostbusters.
The Ghostbusters.
Then the,
Oh.
the characters
2016.
aren't they're like the original characters aren't there, right?
well,
It builds like on a new
I
story,
guess the
new
original characters aren't there. Yeah, sure. But like for example, you just said Ghostbusters. What do you call it, Link? What's the name of this movie?
Oh, Ghostbusters 2016.
Yeah, real Ghostbuster fans call it Answer
Chris
the Call.
Hemsworth.
But
This movie has real fans.
no, just Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters fan really want you to know that this movie is not a Ghostbusters movie.
Mm.
So they don't want Ghostbusters 2016 to be confused with Ghostbusters, whatever you're the original Ghostbusters film.
What about Ghostbusters?
Wait, it didn't have like a subheading or anything. It was just Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it was Ghostbusters. Yeah, it's called 2016
2016?
because that's the year
Yeah.
that it came out.
Wait, but like
I
it
remember
wasn't
it
like
having
the
Answer
the
the
call,
Call.
answer the call or something like that.
No, so in the credits, the director put Answer the Call, but the studio wanted it to just be called Ghostbusters.
Is that Sony,
yeah, that's Sony.
bro? Are they dumb?
If the answer is stupid,
Yes.
it's usually Sony.
Are they?
I mean, we just talked about the whole Morbius being re-released, so I would say yes.
So yes, they are stupid.
Yeah, we just talked about No Way Home. Stupid movie.
Yeah, I would say they
Huh?
are.
No, never mind. I'm just kidding.
No, I call it 2016 because just
No,
to
that's-
differentiate between.
That's its official title.
I
because
And then there's
I
the
always
other.
thought it
There's a
was
new
Answer
one.
the Call.
Ghostbusters Paul Rudd.
oh, that's Afterlife.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
that's the
not.
title of it.
Ghostbusters. Paul Rudd. So, answer the call is a reboot.
Answer the Call, officially titled Ghostbusters 2016, but nobody wants to call it that. Is a reboot, right? Because even though the original Ghostbusters that are alive are in it, and Harold
Spoiler.
Ramis is. How's that a spoiler?
I haven't watched it.
Okay.
Wait, you
Not
haven't
a
seen the new one?
spoiler.
No, 2016.
2016.
Answer the call. They shouldn't have answered that call.
I didn't.
Yeah, clearly.
Bill Murray.
I'm
did.
glad you didn't. Congrats.
Bill Murray's in it, right? Yeah, I think he's a taxi cab driver.
So did Chris Hemsworth.
And actually, he is not a villain.
Don't
Stop
say that.
making that up. And actually, Harold Ramis there's a bust of Harold Ramis in like the
I was about
building.
okay.
So he's even represented in the film. So all 4 of the Ghostbusters, I believe, appear at some point. But they don't play the Ghostbusters. They're other characters. So that's why it's clearly reboot. But it is part of the multiverse, though.
Are legacy sequels
All part of the multiverse now.
I've heard a rumor about making a sequel to that movie, by the way.
Answer the
Which
call.
one?
Yep. Ghost Corps,
Why?
the new Ghostbuster studio.
isn't
I-
that I mean,
After-
didn't we get something like that at the end of Ghostbusters Paul Rudd?
Wait, yeah, we're not doing something in Ghostbusters. Paul
Yeah,
Rudd?
what?
Yeah, and Afterlife. Yeah, but they opened up a whole studio for
But
that.
this is a separate
So
thing.
we're
Called
gonna
Ghost
have
Corps,
two.
yeah.
No, they opened up a whole studios for Ghostbuster movies.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We're gonna have 2 Ghostbuster universes
Exactly.
at the same time.
yeah, because actually
Wow.
in the comics they cross over. They do Ghostbusters, the
Are
real
we actually
Ghostbusters,
getting
which is
a
the
multiverse
cartoon,
movie?
crossing over with the movie Ghostbusters that we grew up with, crossing over with the Answer the Call team, and that's their official name, and then the Extreme Ghostbusters from the sequel animated series.
What has the multiverse done?
If anything, they
You
invented
have
the
so much
multiverse.
knowledge
Yeah,
about this.
Well,
for
this was
some
like
reason.
years ago. Yeah.
Now, question: are legacy sequels a good thing?
Like, do we need them?
Do we need them? Yes.
We only need the good ones.
You can just say that about anything. Though.
Yeah.
Do we need politics? Do we need politicians? We only need the good ones. Do we need lawyers,
Only,
doctors, teachers? We only need the good ones. Oh, I said doctors already.
Yeah.
Because I could be wrong, but I feel like there are more bad legacy sequels than there are good legacy sequels.
I mean, I feel like there's more bad
Everything-
sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's probably like I
Yeah.
feel like there's more bad movies than there are good movies.
No, yeah. Is it a-
I'm down with it because when they're great, they're great.
But
But even if it would, okay, but you don't know if it's going to be great or not until it's released. So you run the chance of it ruining a franchise for
Yeah.
you.
and it's too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
A bad thing. Like sometimes shouldn't we let sleeping dogs lie?
Yeah, you can. It's not my decision to make this movie. You can let it go, and if it sucks, it sucks. Okay.
Okay.
I agree.
If it's great, it's great.
I don't care.
So you don't. Would you rather see an original concept than original film, or
Would I rather see an original concept or original film?
Yeah,
Then a
sequel to a legacy sequel or a sequel in period.
I
Period.
mean, what hits harder home to you? Something that draws on the past, like a legacy sequel, or something that you're currently following, like a film franchise that has a new movie every couple of years?
I think it depends on the franchise. But
Agreed.
I mean, I think for right now, I think what the biggest comparisons are like what the MCU and something from before, like
Star Wars?
Star Wars is kind of coming back, but well, yeah, that's hard.
Because even then, look at Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
We look at stuff like Kenobi. Are you happy that they're giving you more Kenobi, or would you prefer for them to create new content like The Mandalorian? Which one are you enjoying more?
I mean, I guess to find that answer, you just have to listen to our Patreon where we talk about it for 30 minutes per episode.
So yeah, something like that. Star Wars,
Shameless.
where they would, expand on the past rather than create something new. Like, what do you prefer?
Okay, let's use that as an example. I feel like I'm enjoying the new Star Wars, but I feel like I would also enjoy if they just stopped making Star Wars. Is that weird?
What do you mean by that?
So
Like,
you
not
don't
make any
care?
more Star Wars content,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
so no more Mandalorian?
Okay, you broke me. I meant more like this legacy sequel. Cause here,
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought you meant.
Mandalorian feels like a fresh
Take and yeah, exactly.
a new story in the world. But Obi-Wan is like really like preying on my nostalgia of the prequels and the OT, And I feel like Mandalorian doesn't do that.
Yeah,
even
but
though
that's
it
what
can at
legacy
times.
sequels do. They prey on your nostalgia,
Yeah.
and
so-
I mean that's what the studio producers do, right?
yeah.
But in reality, for them, it's a cash grab.
Many times, yeah.
Many times, yeah. Even
But-
for these actors, it's a cash grab. Like
Well-
you were talking about Bill Murray and the original, and the Ghostbusters being in Ghostbusters 2016.
Uh-huh.
Like that's just money for them. Like that was easy money for them.
You pretty much, yeah. I know that Bill Murray especially was like really against it,
Yeah,
but then
I'm pretty sure they threw millions of dollars at
yeah,
you.
and he was like, as long as there's nothing important, like as long as it doesn't like contradict, because he didn't want to come back at all.
He didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even want to come back for Afterlife. They really had to sell him on his role there.
Good.
Um,
Yeah, that's my problem with these legacy sequels. It's a cash grab, right?
Yeah.
It's not for the art, it's for the money.
But
And many times it ends up ruining a franchise.
yeah, but sometimes it could be for the art because these producers, they're human beings too. I know we look at movie producers like insane monsters who exist only for greed and selfishness, but some of these people are people who grew up loving movies and they come into the industry and look, I'm an executive at Warner Brothers now,
You have
and
an
we
opportunity
own
to touch upon that.
exactly.
that piece
We
of
own
art
all
that you-
these properties. We can make this new for a whole new generation. And then you have characters like, because we're going to talk about, for example, The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
And how we felt about that movie. But for Keanu Reeves, it's an opportunity to go back and revisit that character and play him one more time. He did the same thing with Bill and Ted. You know, coming back to these characters. Man, I wonder where they are 10 years later, 15 years later. So I do think it can be an artistic experience, especially if you get the original cast to come back. I mean, just look at Top Gun. Who would have thought that you could make a sequel to that movie as good as the one that we got?
I think in that regard, like that's kind of like what gives me hope for
A
like
New Hope.
to not like necessarily just invalidate legacy sequels.
Mhm.
Like think that everything like Link said, everything's just gonna be a cash grab. There's gonna be no care or love put into that movie. It's just gonna be preying on your nostalgia. But I feel like Maverick does a great job of avoiding certain beats that like typical
The stereotype, the
like-
cliche.
Yeah.
And I mean you can tell that movie is just it's well made and it's made with a lot of love. Like there's a lot going into that.
And there was a lot of love from Tom Cruise himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he wanted this movie to be released in a movie theater and not streamed
Yeah.
shows you how much he cares about the art of
which I'm glad.
yeah.
And about the money.
Yeah, art and the money, right?
Money.
But I do agree. It's many times it's for the art, and sometimes you hit a gem like
Yeah.
this movie, Maverick, and like wow, this is amazing.
I'll give you another example of that. For me, Mad Max Fury Road is that.
Me?
It's
I've never seen that one.
I didn't even know it was a sequel. I always thought it was a reboot.
how many people are gonna watch Maverick thinking the same thing? Like, or
I
they're not
also
gonna
thought it was
even
a
know
reboot.
it's just a movie to them, Obviously, with the archival footage, it's gonna hint.
That'd be great. No, but that'd be great. Like you've never heard of Top Gun?
I mean, I went with
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I've never watched Top Gun.
I guess
I've
really,
heard of
like,
it, but I
you know-
didn't know much about it.
I went
I
with
confused the movies, like I said in the last week.
I went with family.
Like really young people.
And
I
like
guess.
really, and like yeah, and like I went with like my nieces, cousins, and they had never seen it, and then they walked out of Maverick. They were like my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me watch the original one the next day. Oh, this isn't as good.
Yeah, that is
I still
exactly what
love that
happened.
movie.
But it is a product of its time. But I think this movie is a product of its time. Like what we can do in 2022.
Yeah.
It's crazy because Top Gun was like the best movie they can make, and Mad Max was the same way. Like Mad Max, the original Mad Max, is like guys in pickup trucks in Australia going through, driving through trailers, and it is what it is, right? Low budget in its time and place. Then you get a big studio budget with Road Warrior, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Road Warrior is an amazing film. If you've never seen Road Warrior, if you've only seen Fury Road or you haven't seen Fury Road, watch Road Warrior. It's a classic film, and then watch Mad Max Fury Road. 'Cause
So what is Fury Road? Like
Fury Road,
is that the same character from Road Warrior? Is either Road Warrior?
he is the same character. Now, George Miller's vision of it is up to your interpretation because there are elements of it that directly reference Mad Max, Road Warrior, and Beyond Thunderdome, but do not follow the chronology of that film. The movie, if you had to place it somewhere, it seems somewhere after Road Warrior. It would make sense in Road Warrior if it wasn't for like, I think it's like the knee brace that he gets from Thunderdome and certain instances, some callbacks to Thunderdome. Now, George Miller did not finish directing Thunderdome because of certain problems. I know one of the producers died doing location scouting, and Miller took it really hard, and the studio had a timeline, and they had to finish the film. And that third one is kind of a mess. But George Miller still honors Thunderdome with some of those Easter eggs, but Thunderdome really doesn't make sense as like having taken place before Fury Road.
So Tom Hardy is Mel Gibson.
Yeah, he's Max.
Is
He's
he
the same-
older or younger?
Yeah, he's older than he was in Road Warrior. I mean,
Is the same character older? Or is he young? I don't know.
yeah. I
I've
think
never seen.
okay. So again,
Because is this a prequel or is it a sequel?
even amongst themselves,
It's in between, right?
Yeah,
It's
well,
kind of in between.
right?
Isn't the Barbosa movie going to be a prequel?
Furiosa.
Furiosa? I'm sorry.
We're getting Pirates of the
Pirates of the
Caribbean prequel.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, now that he won the defamation lawsuit.
Oh, he's never doing that again.
Yeah, That's not Barbosa though.
I know, but like, what? We're getting Johnny back?
We already got a movie that was just Johnny and Barbosa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even remember how many
There's
Pirates
like
movies.
4 or 5.
But Fury Road, it's up to interpretation, like where it stands or if they're even all connected at all, you know. But you could say it's a sequel because it definitely is in line. Like it's supposed to be the 4th Mad Max movie that you watch, but it's not particularly worried about. Like it almost feels like Max has just lost any sense of time living out there
Yeah.
in the wilderness, and like, oh, what is it? It destroys the car too, but he has the car and the other one, you know,
Mhm.
it literally contradicts the movies, but it's not in a like, oh, this was the studio choice or something, because it's Miller back in the driver's seat. He
Yeah.
made all of the Mad Max movies, so he's purposely contradicting his own movie. So it could be a soft reboot if you want, but it's very clearly, in my mind, part of this series, and it's excellent. It's amazing. It's
It's one of the best. Aside from being one of the best action movies in recent memory for me, I think it's just a great film.
It was nominated for Best Film, right?
Probably.
I'm almost certain. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
But I feel like this. I don't know. Maybe what I'm gonna say is blasphemous, but I feel like Maverick is on that level in the sense of like filmmaking wise.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
not,
yeah.
maybe not like.
Oh, no, yeah.
Well-
No, you can say this movie's this movie should be nominated for Best Picture.
Oh, wait, you're saying it's not, or it is?
It is. It is.
Oh.
It's on the same level.
No, I don't think so. It's not. I don't know if it should be nominated for Best Film. That might be a little bit much because of the. I don't think it has the artistic touch that Fury Road has, but
And that's what I mean.
it's
to say.
groundbreaking in filmmaking for sure. Technical awards.
For me,
Nah,
I think
it deserves a technical.
And I think
award.
it should be at least nominated for Best Picture.
For me, I think it's on the same level. It's like this is one of the action movies that I will always remember. In like when I think of action movies, these are in the top 5, top 10.
I think this movie's going to be more significant for this generation than Top Gun was for. I mean,
Yeah.
it was
Well,
significant
I think
in its
no,
time,
I definitely.
I
think so
agree,
too.
yeah, because it's actually good.
but I don't think it's sustained. The thing is that Top Gun is such an 80s movie, and that period is so specific for the people watching it in real time. I don't think it sustains for years to come. This movie's just, I don't know how they're going to make another movie like this. We have another Legacy sequel coming up, and it's kind of part of a Legacy series, Jurassic World.
All right.
I thought you were going to say Avatar.
That's not.
I was also I was bracing myself for
Yeah.
Oh, I thought about Last Airbender.
No,
but-
the blue people.
Yeah, them too.
The Navi.
But but that will be a series, right? So far, we only have
Yeah.
one movie of Avatar. Jurassic World, we had 3 whole movies, then a series of time passed, and then we have this new series.
Do you think we needed this series?
No, I don't. What do you guys think?
I like.
Are
Chris
they
Pratt.
books? They're books, right?
No, they're
Jurassic
not books.
World series is books.
Jurassic Park, the first movie, is based on a Michael Crichton novel.
Michael Keaton.
Nope, Michael Keaton did not write. But it's like almost, it's nothing like the book. Like the book is like very science heavy, it's not an action, book like the movie is. And then after that, it's just all made up mumbo jumbo. Like
Oh, okay.
Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park 3, they suck in my opinion. I liked 2 as a kid, but I've grown to figure out that I was stupid. 3 is just horrible. I hated it when it came out, and I liked this reboot. What was the first one called? Jurassic World.
World.
Just Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was dumb fun. It wasn't like excellent filmmaking the way that Spielberg was with Jurassic Park, but I was like, I'll take it. But the last one was horrible.
Dominion was bad.
Yeah, Dominion. That's the new one coming up.
Is it?
Yeah, I think Fallen Kingdom.
No,
Oh,
the new one is Fallen Kingdom.
What?
Yeah, Dominion was the second one.
No, Dominion's the new one, guys, coming out. Fallen Kingdom was because
We just had this argument too.
yeah, and you lost it that time also.
I'm gonna lose it again,
new
but
one?
I'm gonna check.
The new one is called Dominion. Fallen Kingdom was called that because remember that they led us to believe that it was about the island volcano erupting and the dinosaurs were all going to be
Dang it!
killed.
I lost again.
Yeah.
You're right.
But in the first act of the movie, that happens, and then they'll put them in a house
Yeah.
for the rest of the movie. And we're like, what? Why was that the Fallen Kingdom? Because the twist is that the Fallen Kingdom is Earth. Because now the dinosaurs, thanks to that little girl who's a clone.
What was that about, bro?
You know, I forgot that.
Bro, that
happened.
movie
I don't
sucks.
remember this
I ha-
movie at all.
so-
That movie made $1 billion.
Danny was saying that
My boy Chris Pratt.
that he lost his argument recently because I had to explain to him the plot of Fallen Kingdom, and he didn't remember any of
I don't
it.
remember. The
I
only thing I
really had
remember
no
about it
idea.
was that I watched it with some friends, and before the movie started, I farted out loud. And everyone in the theater laughed, and I
That's not
thought
where
that was,
I thought
that was
the
a good
story
one.
was going.
And that's all I remember.
That movie's really
I'd say
bad.
you blacked out after.
Yeah,
I
pretty
forgot
much
about
that
the clone.
that fart knocked me out.
The whole movie took place in a house.
House,
It was like
yeah.
they didn't want to pay for a set. It's a Jurassic World movie. What's the matter with you? Like,
But Dominion,
Right,
this
I
new
really
movie, prays a
barely
lot
remember.
more on your nostalgia because everyone's coming back.
I understood the Minions.
Endgame.
Dominions, isn't it?
The
This
Minions.
is the last
The
Jurassic
Minions?
movie they're making?
Jurassic Park, the Minions
Oh, I kind of
I
want to watch
believe
that.
it is the last one.
This is the last Jurassic
Banana.
movie they're making?
that we know of. That we know of. I don't believe that for.
But that one's bringing back everyone.
I haven't seen the trailer. Can you
They're
believe
all-
that?
they're
That's
all
how
gonna-
mad I am
they're
about.
all
it.
gonna die.
Yeah, they brought
It's
back the
Endgame.
old grumpy guy.
You mean Grant?
I forgot- I don't know his name.
Yes, Grant.
They brought the blonde lady and from Star Wars that you don't like.
Laura
I mean,
Dern.
What? That's not me. I'm fine with her. What?
You don't like Laura. What's her
Holdo?
Laura Dern, yeah.
name? You don't like Laura Dern.
Oh, I don't like Laura Dern.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I do like her. She's good. No, you're making me say this.
Is he-
Wow,
you
yeah,
guys
why
like
did you
it
give
right
in?
now?
Nah, you're the one that told me
Why
you don't
did
like
you
Laura
give
Dern.
in to that?
I like Laura Dern. There's just something I don't like how she shows up in these franchise movies. Like I think she's a great like actress in quote unquote real movies, but it's
Wow.
weird for her to show up in Star Wars. That's just me. She feels out of place when she shows.
And
Yeah.
then it also brings
Star
back our
Wars is
king,
not a real movie.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, but Jeff Goldblum's already come back and he was in Fallen Order. He tricked me. Like they put him in the
Mm.
trailer and then he was
Fallen Order.
He's in the video game?
Dang.
My
Yo, that's
bad.
crazy. He's in Fallen Order.
He's in Fallen Kingdom.
He's the
He's
he's
in
the,
Fallen Order Kingdom Dominion.
He's the seventh brother.
I would have taken him in Fallen Order.
Ah,
That'd be awesome.
yes.
That'd be sick.
Cow.
He's an
Cow.
inquisitor.
Yes. I have Lord Vader. I agree.
He just makes awkward looks and doesn't say
Mm.
anything.
the mighty sword you got, lightsaber.
Sword, he calls it.
My bad.
Laser
He
sword.
just calls it.
Lasers.
Yeah, who else? There's one more. There's three of them, isn't there? Oh, yes, the
Give me-
Goldblum,
Yeah, this will be the
Grant.
Grant.
You think they're gonna bring back
Little kids.
Vince Vaughn.
no, the guy that gets taken by
they
pterodactyls?
should bring back Vince Vaughn. The guy who gets Willem Dafoe.
Nivola, what's his name?
William H. Macy.
Alessandro Nivola. You
No,
remember in
no.
3 where the guy gets taken by pterodactyls?
3.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember
yeah.
3, man. I just remember the Raptors talk.
That's the one I remember the most because I think I had toys for that.
They
one.
should
was
have
an
cloned Jeff Goldblum in Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
Dang it, Fallen Kingdom. And even in that movie, put him in it.
Well, I pitched to Danny what would get me back into Jurassic World is if they bring back this
the
cast.
meteors.
They bring back this cast. They get me Vince Vaughn. They get me William H. Macy from
I do want
3.
Vince Vaughn. to
They
come
bring
back.
and then they have like a voice recording left behind from the kids on the Netflix show Camp Cretaceous. Like they cross
right.
over the animated series and just do like an Endgame style Jurassic World. That's the only
They
thing
just
I'm willing to
all
accept.
ride the dinosaurs and fight.
Yeah,
to the
exactly. Yeah, it's just humans
sounds
versus
awesome.
I hope you
dinosaurs.
know that's what's gonna happen in this movie.
Okay. Now am I
That sounds
getting excited
awesome.
for Dominion?
I'm
Or
sold.
what? Oh, it's this week, isn't it?
It is this week. I will be away. I will not be here
Oh,
for that.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, actually, that is literally like Providence. I cannot.
I don't know.
fathom.
Jeff Goldblum's in it.
Just running away.
He was in the last one too.
In Fallen Order.
I want to watch that. Play that.
Fallen Order.
Play that with Jeff Goldblum.
We talked a little bit about Ghostbusters, 2016, aka Answer the Call. But we recently watched Ghostbusters
Yeah, this past year in March.
Afterlife.
November.
It was in November.
November? My bad. Dang, that's right.
Yeah, because we were recording.
Wow, it's been a while.
we were
already,
recording an
yeah.
episode and then we just ran away. To go watch it.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
That movie's great.
That movie was
Sure.
fantastic.
I thought I liked it a lot too. Yeah.
I just had one complaint about
Not
that
enough
movie.
Paul Rudd?
Not enough Paul Rudd.
I thought it was too much Paul Rudd.
No, man. You
Nope.
know what they should have? If you haven't watched the movie, I'm going to spoil this for you. But the ghost of Harold Ramis should have been
That's
on.
a big spoiler.
Yeah,
if you haven't, this movie's
No, that
great,
was
man. This is a great legacy sequel.
Yeah,
This one,
because it pays homage
That-
to that legacy.
yes, because Egon is my favorite Ghostbuster.
same.
So the fact that they give Harold Ramis, a proper goodbye, that was awesome. But they should have kept him by having the ghost of Harold Ramis possess Paul Rudd. His character.
That
So
might
that-
be.
Paul Rudd could just play Egon. In the
Yeah,
future.
exactly.
Then it would be like Wonder Woman 84.
I don't know. Yeah,
Oh, no.
consensually.
Oh, he asks first.
Paul was just like,
He's like, can
yeah,
I? Yes, I
let's
want to
do
lose.
it.
Can you possess me? And then Egon
No,
just,
man.
nods his head because he can't talk.
Nah, I love how it gives finality to it.
I loved it.
That was so good.
I was also scared while I was watching this movie because I knew that for years Bill Murray had said he wouldn't agree to be in a Ghostbusters sequel unless he had died, unless he was a ghost.
And you thought he was going to die?
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, no. And then when he shows up in the flesh, I'm like, yes, he's alive. And then I was afraid he was
And then
going
he
to
was
die.
he's gonna die.
Yeah, but the fact that he shows up in real life and also survives, spoiler.
And the fact that they all came back together.
Maybe that's the key to a good legacy sequel, where
Getting the band back together.
getting the band back
Rise of
together,
Skywalker.
Showing them
but,
together.
Yeah, I was literally about to
but
say
having
that.
them think you're gonna die, but then they don't die, because that's what happens in Maverick. You think he's gonna
Yeah. Oh.
I think it works sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. It all depends on the story you're telling. Like, for example, in the Force Awakens and in the Star Wars
No, I
sequels,
I don't like that.
they didn't get the bang back together. Every movie has like a different one.
Bruh.
They never all meet,
They all
and
die.
then they kill all of them.
That was ridiculous, man.
So,
That is a complaint I have. I can't believe
Ah.
they did that, man. I really can't.
Sometimes you should.
And I
just,
get
like-
Harrison Ford was like, I'm dying in this next one. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
then he showed up again anyways. Though
I don't-
he was in the third.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you consider Ghostbusters the original to be a comedy?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's a straight comedy film. Yeah,
but because I'm thinking of you know me, I love my comedies. I'm thinking of comedy legacy sequels.
yeah.
Would Ghostbusters Paul Rudd? That's not a comedy though.
Stop calling it that.
I'm sorry.
It is a
Afterlife.
comedy.
It is a comedy. Yeah, that
Is
movie's-
Is it?
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
little darker
Yeah.
comedy.
So it's
It's-
Ghostbusters.
I think it's
Yeah.
this is darker than.
So what about what? This was darker than
I don't-
Ghostbusters 2 with Vigo.
What?
Yeah, this is just as dark.
So if this is a comedy,
That
then
guy was about
can
to
you?
sacrifice a baby.
Because my thing is that
My only problem with like when I said too much Paul Rudd was because like that scene where like he,
He runs-
meets up.
yeah.
Yeah, like that's way too comedy. But yeah, go ahead.
so can you? Because in my opinion, I don't think that comedy legacy sequels work well. I don't think I've seen a good one. Could this
Afterlife.
be like yeah? Could this be that one that's actually good? Like
Yeah, because it's a genre.
Yeah.
genre
comedy.
exactly. Because the
Yeah.
other one that I was thinking of, all these comedy legacy sequels like Zoolander 2. I haven't seen it, but I heard that it missed the mark.
It was very bad.
Right? Coming to America,
Fire.
I never
Two.
got to see it.
Straight fire.
but I heard it missed the mark.
Oh, I heard some people liked it.
I thought it was fine.
I heard it missed the mark as well. Anchorman.
It got
2
nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, bro.
for costume design.
Well, they did a great job with the wardrobe.
yeah.
Avatar was nominated for an Oscar.
Anchorman, is that what you were gonna say?
Yes,
You say
Anchorman.
Avatar's a comedy?
I know Avatar was nominated for an Oscar. Doesn't make it a great movie.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. I'd have to fact check that, but he seems pretty sure that it was. So
I didn't know it was.
for what?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Avatar.
But
Yeah.
also, I didn't know.
Oh, you're
that.
talking about Avatar, like the blue Avatar.
Yeah.
Man, they got to do something.
They got to
about
do
this.
something about this. Yeah.
No, that's what,
No,
that's what
The
I mean.
Last
Like,
Airbender.
was
Yeah.
it?
No, I mean, I think Avatar was an achievement in visual arts.
Yeah.
Was that what it got nominated for?
Yeah.
No, it even
It
even
did
got
not
nominated.
get nominated for Best Picture.
It did.
You keep saying this.
Let's find out.
I'm pretty sure it got nominated because I was mad about that.
No, I got mad because it's the most
Oh no,
money
no.
ever.
I think it was nominated.
I thought
but
they were
it
gonna win
didn't
too, but yeah, I know it didn't win. But I thought,
we've argued about whether it won or not. It did not
anyways, I think the only before coming to the conclusion that Afterlife was the best comedy sequel.
win. Yeah,
I was thinking maybe Anchorman 2 was.
I like Anchorman.
I like
too.
it, but it's not as good as Anchorman 1.
Yeah.
But
Have you ever seen Wake Up Ron Burgundy?
no,
it's a
I mean I've seen it.
remix,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
remix of
Yeah, so I already had like I don't want to say lackluster because it's funny, but it's like I've already had like a unnecessary quote unquote sequel to Anchorman. So my expectations were not like Anchorman
Yeah.
level going into Anchorman 2
But that's the thing though, because I don't think that comedy sequels do well.
for the most part.
For the
yeah.
most part, they don't because maybe the jokes don't age well. Maybe
What are some examples?
of jokes not aging well. I'm
No,
not I,
no,
specifically. I don't.
of comedy sequels that didn't work.
Zoolander 2.
Okay, just that one. And any others?
Let me go to my list here.
Bro, Avatar was nominated for 9 Academy Awards.
Yeah, I just saw that.
I mean,
Ghostbusters 2016.
I mean, I think Avatar's a good movie that I don't like. I just don't. I understand why people like it. I just don't understand why people are in love with it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, it was visually stunning for its time, especially if you saw it in 3D.
There are people that watch Avatar and
I really hope this next
they
one is
cry
actually good.
because at the end of the movie because they realize, oh man, I could never live in this world.
You know these people in real life.
I saw it. Danny and I saw it in an
Yeah.
episode of How
How
to with
To.
John Wilson.
Oh.
What do you mean?
So good, man.
Like, what do you mean? What do I mean?
They can never live in this world.
yeah,
yeah,
like they
It's so amazing,
amazing
to them,
to them
that
that-
they wish that that's what the real world was.
Yeah.
like.
they know the
wish that
language
way-
and
Just
stuff.
go to Disney, dog.
Well, that's true.
That's
Annual
true.
pass.
That's what they should
Only a
do.
couple
It's
thousand.
not the
dollars.
same.
But
You
why
don't
is
have
it-
to survive off the dirt.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
You could almost fall off the ride.
yeah, and you can
That's quite a tumble.
you can just eat those pangu pastry, those like pastelitos.
Are they blue?
You could live
What?
off of pasta.
Are they blue?
Are they blue? Like, do they have blue guava?
No, they have. I think it's just
No,
regular
no.
white.
It's
Cream
it's
cheese,
cheese
like-
and mango.
Yeah, it's cheese and mango. Man, I
Was
haven't
it
had one
mango?
in a while.
I'm pretty sure it was mango.
So
I
comedy,
just want-
comedy legacy
yeah.
sequels.
Yeah, why don't they ever do well?
Suck.
You mean that
Um,
that one bad one that you mentioned?
I'm pretty. No, think about it. There's more. There's more. You
Are
know,
they a
Why
lot
don't
of
they ever
legacy
do?
sequels though?
Well,
I think I named
that one.
Bill and
I've
Ted,
made-
I heard was good, but none of us watched it.
none of those. Yeah,
I heard it was good. We should
which
probably
is
go
a
out of the
shame
way.
because I really like
Oh,
Keanu
man,
Reeves
really?
now. Since John Wick.
We've been forever needing to watch the Bill and Ted movies and or Empire Strikes Back theatrical, and like we just haven't because there's so much stuff to watch. It's hard to go back.
When are we getting a Ferris Bueller legacy sequel?
Like with his son,
Even then, I
or actually, it could just be him because he like looks almost exactly the same. Now he's finally started aging with the
No,
gray
he's
hair.
starting to age.
Yeah, but you know,
I would
but
like
we
to
have
see
CGI
that
though.
with his son.
We have CGI.
No, no, let's not do that.
Yeah, let's do it like
de-age.
Professor X.
What are some other legacy sequels that are out there?
Well, Space Jam that's a comedy.
That's yes, but that also
I
proves my
Oh,
point
man,
that it
movie
did not hit.
sucked.
yeah.
That it missed the mark. I
I thought
haven't
it was
seen
fine. It was a really good commercial for Warner Brother
I didn't
properties.
see.
It was a commercial.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see Michael Jordan in it.
Yeah,
Well, that's true. We don't like LeBron as much as
It
we
does
like
not-
Michael Jordan.
I
Does
see, 'cause
not continue on the.
I thought Dwayne Wade was
One
gonna be
character
in
of
it,
the past.
and that's why I'm like, I'm watching it. Dwayne Wade's gonna be there. Then I heard he wasn't in it, and I'm like, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
You haven't seen it?
No, he hasn't.
I saw it on a cruise.
Oh, good on you, man.
Thank you.
Listen, I was starving for content to watch with my niece during the pandemic, so it hit just fine for me. She had just watched the first Space Jam, and she was like, I don't want to watch this. This is boring. This is slow. Michael Jordan's playing baseball, but once the Looney Tunes show up, she was down to clown.
Mm.
So,
Which one did she like more?
I mean, I think
LeBron.
probably because it was just like more exciting, more
Oh,
high
no.
energy.
Do we have to cancel our niece?
No, because it's also you gotta think with little kids. She's like
I'm
what?
sorry.
She's like what? She's not even 7. She's not even
She's 8.
7 at that time. No, but it was like last year before her birthday, so she wasn't even
I knew better.
7 yet.
I knew better.
No, because you gotta think. So she's like with these little kids, like it just all is Space Jam. You guys are a generation that like oh the prequels are Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like you just have to.
Who's you guys?
I don't know. I'm adding somebody here. Whoever, let he who has ears listen and understand. If it applies to you, then. basically, like, if you're born and there's 9 Star Wars movie, it's all Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, you got to respect that. Like, to them, they didn't grow up, here's this thing, and then this thing came out after.
The prequels are Star Wars.
So, like, they're just our 2 Space Jam movies for a kid, growing up now. They don't
Nah,
care that one was
tell
in
her-
95 and one was, like...
Tell her MJ is the GOAT and LeBron doesn't.
Yeah,
matter.
well, we watched The Last Dance with her. After that.
What?
Wow.
Here you go.
So she,
How did?
so she could educate herself.
Yeah, you gotta teach.
She had a lot of questions, though.
The greatest sports personality of all time.
Was she like? Did she take it personally?
She
after?
did. Yeah.
You know, a legacy sequel that I mean, I haven't watched this one because everyone tells me not to watch it. But a legacy
Blade Runner.
a legacy sequel that ruins the legacy of doesn't necessarily ruin it. You get me? But it puts an asterisk on
Tarnishes.
that
An
legacy.
asterisk, the word of the day.
Asterisk on that legacy. You get me?
Asterisk.
Avatar.
Is Godfather Part 3?
Oh.
Yes.
Because
yes.
Godfather Part 1 and 2 are masterpieces, right?
You haven't
they-
seen The Godfather Part 2, but okay.
I mean, do I need to watch it to know it's a masterpiece? Like
No,
it's
you
on
don't.
exactly, it's on the AFI's.
But you do need to watch it, though.
What? No. Yeah. Watch the movie. What
I
are you
know.
talking about?
But do I need to watch it? No, because it's
To know,
Do
wait,
I
no,
need
no,
to
you-
Nah, what do you
You cut it
saying?
off at that point. He means
Do I need
does
to
he-
watch it? No.
Does he need to watch it to know it's a masterpiece?
no.
He knows it's
I
a
know it's a
masterpiece.
masterpiece. Yeah,
But yes, he needs to watch it.
I need to watch it. Yeah, but because I mean, I'm waiting for you to give me
You're
that.
not waiting. I told you I already have the cut. It's
Okay.
here.
Let's do that right now.
Okay, let's wrap this up.
But does it ruin the Godfather saga or series?
I don't think it ruins it. You just ignore it, like I do with everything that's Star Wars now.
Mm.
You just ignore it. There's Godfather 1 and 2, and that is a legacy sequel.
Takes
Because-
years, like what?
No, it
20,
takes
10
it takes like 10 years for them to
10
make
years
the
to
third
make
one.
it, and
And yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's just like Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, and Rocky Balboa. And then you go on to Creed.
that's
I
correct.
love every single Rocky movie.
even
Is that a
5?
real thing?
Even,
We're not
I
talking
don't-
about the one
yeah,
we
I
don't
don't
talk
care.
about, right?
even 5?
The street fight?
There's 5.
Danny understood it so well that he doesn't know about the one we don't
no,
talk
no,
about.
I'm afraid that he might not. What?
I actually didn't know there was a 5th one.
What? The
What?
Tommy gun? The machine gun?
It's
I
the
don't
reason
remember
why.
that.
Yeah, Rocky's a trainer. He has like a brash up and coming like rookie, but then he gets swayed by the allure of the bright lights, and then he turns on Rocky, and Rocky has to beat his butt in the street, and there's not even a boxing fight at the end.
Yeah, it's a
Okay,
street
then I
fight
don't
at the
love
end.
we
them
don't
all.
talk about that one.
Oh, so
Okay, I don't love them all. Oops.
Where
you've never seen this?
I
All right,
don't know. I guess not.
tomorrow when you come in, all plans are canceled. We're
No,
watching
please.
No,
Rocky
no, no,
five.
no, no.
Stop,
We're watching
stop.
The Godfather.
Don't do it.
We're watching The Godfather. No.
Don't do it.
Wait. Is Cobra Kai a legacy sequel? Even if it's a show.
I mean, it's a TV show, but yeah, it's the same vein. Yeah, sure. We're not gonna talk
What
about
about Toy Stories 3 and 4?
Toy Story 3 is a legacy sequel. It's like I think a decade after Toy Story
yeah.
2,
Mm-hmm.
but it caps off the trilogy. So yes, it is. But the one that really feels like a legacy sequel is 4.
4, yeah.
Because it's like far ahead. We've moved on from the main story. You know, it's a new chapter, and we're building like. Speaking of which, were they building for a Toy Story 5? Is that happening?
It could be, yeah, one without Woody, right?
Well, yeah, one without Woody. Right?
Which then we get a Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
A Buzz without Woody.
Yeah.
Aren't we getting that?
Exactly, that's what I meant. Yeah, we're getting the Lightyear movie
Yeah.
without Woody.
Is
Is
this
that a
Toy
legacy
Story 5?
prequel?
Is that a legacy? No, it's not a prequel because this is.
Is that a legacy?
No, it's not.
No, it's-
Legacy
it's
It's not
multiverse?
anything. Yeah, multiverse.
well, Andy did see that movie apparently.
Yeah. Well, but did Andy
So-
see the cartoon, Star Command, or did he see
Oh, I did
No,
like that
no.
show.
The
This movie.
director said that Andy saw this movie.
this movie? Okay, so this is the movie that Andy saw, and then there was a cartoon, right? Which is the cartoon that we saw. That is still not on Disney Plus. Justice for Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. When are
Why
you putting
not?
it on?
Where is it? It's
That movie,
nowhere.
that show was so
Yeah,
fun.
why is it
and-
not there?
That and Aladdin the animated series are just like just been gone for the years.
Where?
Nobody knows.
They never existed.
People just been
It's
clamoring.
Mandela
for it.
Lost
effect.
it? Like,
I don't know. Disney, if you have it, please
they buried it with Walt
Did you
Disney.
lose it in the fire?
give it to
They
us.
froze it with Walt Disney.
Froze it with Walt Disney.
That's a blatant lie.
He's supposed to be thawing pretty soon, no?
Is it on a timer? It's not just like
Yeah, there was like a
forever.
it's like a prophecy or something.
I don't think that's accurate. What are
Yeah,
you
the
even reading?
Egyptians predicted it.
So
BuzzFeed.
Balboa's a right,
Yeah, Balboa's a legacy sequel, right? Because
Yeah.
it takes place,
and then Creed again.
and then
is
Creed is another legacy. Yeah,
Creed is awesome.
Creed's
Creed is
great.
great.
Creed is
man.
great.
What about Creed 2?
I haven't seen it.
What?
I haven't seen it.
Were you in California?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Nah, when he misses stuff like halfway across the country without us, I understand.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do?
Yes.
Watch it
I
by
don't know.
myself?
I was across the world and I was still catching up. I was still watching everything.
Did you watch Wreck-It Ralph 2?
I did, but I don't think that was in California.
Oh, they came out the same day.
I did watch
Oh,
Wreck-It
wow.
Ralph too. That's because Wreck-It Ralph has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, but Wreck-It Ralph 2 doesn't.
Were you
right?
disappointed
It
by
does
the second
not.
one? Yeah, okay, it sucked.
That was not a legacy.
I don't think
sequel.
it sucked.
That's
I thought it
it.
was fine, but
was fine,
it
yeah.
didn't live
It
up to
sucked.
Yeah,
Wreck-It Ralph 1.
I liked it, but
That's not canon.
it's like
in my
Anchorman
eyes.
2. I liked it. It didn't live up to Anchorman 2.
Yeah. Would you? Okay, when you get a sequel like that, and this is a little bit of a sidetrack because they're not legacy sequels. Well, I guess Anchorman is.
Yeah.
When you get a sequel like that doesn't live up to it, would you have rather not had it, or are you just happy to revisit those characters in that world?
Yeah, that's what I brought up earlier.
It
And
depends.
I think for me, if it's not going to be up to par, I would rather not have them make it. Because then it just dampers it. I'm like, I'll think back to it. Oh, it's not as good. I got maybe a few laughs, a few, some joyful moments out of it, but I would prefer for them not to have made it.
So they shouldn't have made the new Men in Black International.
Yeah,
Oh, I definitely think that
Yeah.
should not have been made.
They shouldn't make. I mean, they're probably not going to make it now.
Is that
Chris-
franchise
the
dead?
old-
The
Chris
new-
Hemsworth?
Yeah.
Fire.
Is that a joke?
Actually, I don't think I've seen that one.
Lincoln doesn't watch movies.
I think the last one I watched
He doesn't
was
watch sequels. He doesn't believe them.
the last one I watched was.
But I mean, it's good for him.
yeah,
like,
because I'm.
in
Yeah, because all of these are bad. All of-
Yeah,
most of them are bad.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
I don't want to damper.
Link wasn't gonna even watch Top Gun.
I mean,
That's true. He
I
wasn't.
wasn't.
Bro, I
But
wasn't
I also
even
have
gonna
never
watch
seen Top Gun, so I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Or
We would have. None of us would have gone.
None of
if
us
it
would've
wasn't
gone
for
for you,
Gabriel.
yeah.
Just
You
bu-
saved
we would have
us.
gone
No, you
eventually
really
because, like,
saved
oh,
us.
everyone
Yeah.
says it's great. I
Yeah,
guess I
I
should go.
guess. Yeah.
But because of you, we're
We were there opening night.
exactly.
We knew
we're
it was.
hip.
We knew it was.
People
great
were asking me.
first.
They're like, "Hey, you excited about Top Gun?" And I was like, "Why would I be excited about Top Gun? It was just a movie in the '80s." And then they were disappointed, and then I tried to. But the new one's gonna be good. I try to make them feel better, but I guess. But I was like, I am going opening night because
I also,
Someone bought
think,
my-
I also think it depends on like the relationship with the previous body of work. 'Cause I enjoyed the heck out of that movie when I was a kid.
yeah. But see, you don't even have to enjoy the new one. That's what's crazy.
Yeah. That's what
Yeah, and I
love
think
about it.
that's what makes it special.
That should be the goal.
I think that's what makes it special for me because I mean, same thing goes for Mad Max. I don't have to know anything about the Mad Max universe.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh,
watch
okay,
it.
man.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
What about?
Wait, you said you haven't seen Mad Max Fury Road?
No, I haven't.
Man, that's such a great list of films to
That
watch.
You've
was-
seen Road Warrior?
I see in Telemundo,
Okay.
I count it.
Okay.
but I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I would recommend watching Road Warrior at least. You don't need Mad Max
Yeah.
or
Well, Road Warrior, you're doing
Thunderdome.
yourself a service.
yeah, Road Warrior's
Yeah, I gotta-
excellent
So
film.
good.
I gotta check that out.
Um,
Every movie from this franchise, in my opinion, comes that I'm gonna announce seems like
you're gonna announce a new movie, right?
No, that would eventually.
Well, you're
seems like
announcing
it's
a
World
legacy-
premiere.
Seems like it's a legacy sequel because the movie's just come up like,
Before Sunrise.
Okay,
yeah.
that one's.
Every movie is a legacy
Legacy
sequel.
Oh man,
I'm talking about Terminator, the Terminator franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Because they take so long to be made, and time progresses as well.
Yeah, we did the math on this when we were like researching for this episode. It feels like every 10 years is a Terminator movie. They're almost all about 6 years apart, which is longer than usual. But Terminator 3 was 10 years after
Wait, how many
Terminator 2.
How many years is Terminator 2 from Terminator 1?
T2 was what year?
It's like
Is it 10 years, right?
it's like 83, 92. So I think it's like
T2?
9?
9.
Really?
Nah, it's less than that. I looked it up.
What year is T2?
T2's 92. And T1, man,
Yeah.
it's got to be like 84. So I think it's like 8 years.
Okay.
You know, it's 7 or 8 years. Because I remember because they did not hit like the 10-year mark. And I was very surprised because those two movies
If-
feel worlds apart.
Because of the technology.
The technology
Yeah.
and the technology and the budget. But then T3
All right,
is
1984, then 1991.
91. See, so that's like 6,
That's like
7.
11
That's
years.
7. That's 7
It's
years.
like 11 years to 3.
Yeah,
And
3
then
is
when-
what, 2003? 4?
I believe it's 11 years. So it's 7, 11.
2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7, 11, and then they go about 6, 5 or 6 in between after that. But every time they make a new Terminator movie, it's like a reboot. Like it ties in, quote unquote, to the other movies, but like Salvation ignores 3. And then
3 was the first one I saw.
Are you really?
Yeah, and then I went back and saw 2, and I was like, man, this is so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw 2 was the first one I saw. So it was all downhill from there.
Yeah.
Because I went back and saw 1 and I was like, oh, this is good, but like this doesn't compare.
Yeah.
But at least I get it. This is where we came from. You know, it was like Road Warrior I saw first, and then I saw Mad Max.
I mean, I was also like 7
Yeah.
when I watched that movie.
Yeah, I was way too young to watch that movie.
Like, man, Arnold's butt.
in Terminator 1, you get more than Arnold's butt.
Oh, that's true.
If you look closely, the heavy shadows on that thing. But then,
show me your leadership capabilities.
That's pretty good.
yeah, it's really good. It's not your typical stereotypical, Arnold impersonation.
Head gravitas.
Yeah.
I literally listened to I was listening to an episode of
The
Conan's
Simpsons?
podcast,
Oh.
and where he got Bill Hader to be in it, and he ended up sharing a story of him and Arnold, and he says Arnold tells Bill Hader, who was a PA at the time, "Go look for this person. Show me your leadership capabilities."
Sounds amazing. I wish he would give me that charge. But anyways, each like Genesis then contradicts Salvation, and
I
then
never saw that one. That's the one with Khaleesi.
no, that's that is the one with Khaleesi, yeah, where they recast everyone.
Who is she?
She's Laura Croft.
She's Sarah Connor?
Yeah, she's Sarah Connor.
She's Sarah Connor?
Yeah, she's Sarah
What?
Connor. Can you believe that?
What? It's crazy.
I haven't seen the last 2.
I saw the last one. I like
Oh,
the
Dark
last one.
Fate. I like Dark
I
Fate.
like
It was
Dark
fine.
Fate.
It was fine in the way where I already gave up waiting for a great Terminator sequel. So like it being fine, I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was close. It was as close to a real Terminator 2 sequel, which everybody's been lying to me that the next Terminator movie is. So like basically Salvation 3, Salvation, Genesis, and Dark Fate are all sequels to Terminator 2.
What was Genesis about?
Genesis was trying to like reboot the timeline and create like an alternate timeline. Yeah. So it like they go
That's
back
so complicated.
they go back to Terminator 1 and just change the events of Terminator 1, which is blasphemy, especially when you find out what they change it to. Like John Connor becomes Skynet and he's the bad guy.
What?
Yeah, that's right. I spoiled it.
Is this a definition of a cash grab? This whole
Yeah.
ever since
Yeah, Terminator.
3?
Oh yeah, because almost every time it's a new studio doing it, they constantly selling the Terminator franchise and a new studio is funding the movie. And they're like,
That's kind of sad.
yeah, it is kind of sad. It's really sad 'cause Terminator 2 is one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, I want someone to, take it in and
Now, question.
care for it.
Talking about legacy, sequels, a movie that has a word legacy in it, Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Tron Legacy? Because I remember watching it and I did not like it.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, why didn't you like it? You never seen Tron?
I had seen Tron. I
Oh, yeah.
watched Tron before this, which I'm like, oh,
That must have been hard to watch.
Yeah.
Because I went back to
Yeah,
watch it.
how
and
did
I'm
you
like,
do
I
that?
watched
what
the
is
original
this?
Tron first. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, what was this
What is
movie?
this
I
movie?
saw
I
it.
still don't get it.
I saw it when I was a kid, and I'm like,
I don't know why
I
people
didn't-
love this.
I just overlooked it. Like
Yeah.
I just didn't.
I was
think
like,
anything about it.
cool. I thought, cool. I don't remember anything about it.
And then I went back, like I saw Tron Legacy, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what the original Tron looks like now. I went back and I'm like, bro, this looks bad.
Yeah.
I was like, I sat through this as a kid.
This looks bad. I had to turn it off. I couldn't finish it.
I think I did, but
It was unwatchable.
it
for
was.
me.
I think it was like
Yeah.
torture for my wife.
It was unwatchable for me. What did I do? I don't think I had such a great experience the first time I watched on Legacy because I was, like I said, I was in
Yeah.
Guam at the time. I wasn't like really in, like theaters weren't as accessible, I guess. So I had it on my laptop, and then I watched it like I was still jet lagged from the plane ride. 'Cause It was pretty relatively like recent since I got there. So I'd watched it, and it was like at 5 a.m, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Then I watched it over the pandemic, and I was like, man, I actually really enjoyed this movie. And one of the things that got me to watch it was I had heard a song from the soundtrack, from the score that Daft Punk does.
Yeah.
Get
I'm like,
lucky.
Oh, that
This is amazing.
it was not
Hmm.
good looking.
And so I
It
went
was one more time.
and so I go back and I listen to it. I'm like, I actually enjoy this movie, and the music is one of my favorite scores. But yeah,
I have a special place in my heart for this because your dad loved Tron growing up. And I think he just convinced me that Tron was awesome. But the thing that's cool about Tron is like the concept.
Yeah.
The bikes,
Yeah.
the planes, you know what I mean? The whole, especially for that time period growing up in the 80s, early 90s, just the whole like what we now know as retro was like what was in. And it was so cool. But then Tron Legacy comes out. And I'll remember that like my cousins, they were just scrolling through my movies, like in the digital platform. They're like, what's this? Press play. And they didn't know anything about it. And they loved it. And the fact that it was like one of the like older movies for them, which it's still a family movie, but it's like live action and like has like actual action. It's not a cartoon. It's not like for little kids. And they just blew them away because they had never seen a movie like that before. And then they were like, this is awesome. And then that made me love it. And then like Flynn and Cora, they come out for Disney Infinity. And my niece loves playing with those toys and loved playing with those characters in the game. And it's just more like everything around Tron Legacy made Tron Legacy like super good for me.
yeah. And I mean, I think one of the big things, I mean, we mentioned it before, one of the big things that has to go deals with these legacy sequels is that nostalgia aspect,
Yeah.
that factor that I think sometimes it hurts a film more, but sometimes it can really add to it. I don't know. I have a certain I like a special place with certain things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing the differences, and especially when when a long period of time has passed, and you still get like similar like the same character, and you really do get to see how this character's changed or grown. And it's like, because to me, like even growing up myself, like even 10 years in my own life, I can see the experiences that I've gone through, how much I've changed, how much
Mhm.
time has passed for me. And it's like, to me, it's like, oh, that's cool. They were able to get someone to come back. Obviously, there's money and stuff like that. But I was like, it's cool for in certain instances where a character gets to come back and relive and tell a different story. Sometimes the story will be good. Sometimes it won't be. Sometimes it'll be pretty cheap or just have nothing to do um, with a new direction. Sometimes they try to do the same old thing. And that's kind of like, I teetered the line with Star Wars a bit, because that was like, I mean, it's Star Wars. It's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite franchise.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like seeing like Han again, seeing Leia again, and barely seeing Luke again. That was special for me to see that again, especially like because the Star Wars that we had gotten before that was the prequels,
Mm-hmm.
and so we didn't really get the original actors.
Right.
And so seeing them again, I was like, oh
And
man, this is special.
And you know what? Maybe that's the difference there when we talk about it not being legacy, because even though you are revisiting the characters, it's more devoid of like what you liked about the originals.
Yeah, no, because I mean the same thing with Top Gun. It was like it's not like Top Gun had like a super deep meaning when I watched it as a kid. It was just
Uh-huh.
dudes flying jets and acting super cool, or whatever. But then watching it like watching Maverick and seeing like a similar shot that he has that Tom Cruise has on his bike,
Uh-huh.
and he's just like that shot of like him like getting away, like escaping trouble, which is kind of like how they place it in the original movie. He gets out of trouble, and he's just like riding his bike, and it's the shot of his face, and he's just smiling, and how like the guy's just free. And it was one of those moments where I was like, I don't know why, like it's just something that's impactful for me from the original one,
Mm.
that they have a shot like that in the new one. And I was like, man, this is so like, I don't know why, it's just so nice to me, and having the music in the background that they play. It's just one of those things where I think it's individual for everyone. Like you get to pick and choose like what it is that you like about
Right.
these. But for me, the nostalgia aspect sometimes really drives that point home. Sometimes really makes that experience better for me. I know for some other people, it's like, oh, this is old. Like you just have like nostalgia bias, and that just ruins it for them. But most of the time, for legacy sequels, for me, the nostalgia does play a big part in it, and it also depends on how they do it. So that's how I feel about legacy sequels, and how nostalgia plays into that, because that for me was what makes a legacy sequel.
I think nostalgia is a powerful drug.
Yeah, it's what gives people money. That's what makes people money.
Yeah. But I also think that our lives operate in many of the same ways. We look back and we reminisce at the stories that we wrote or the chapters in our story from long ago. Lost love, adventures, friends who come in and out of our lives and then back in. And we revisit those experiences and we think about what they mean for where we're going next. Looking back at the past and the legacy that we've built in our life is not that much different than the legacies that these films have built. And drawing from those stories in order to shape the stories that are ahead of us and following back on those paths in order to lay out a new path for us. That's what we do when we forge our legacy. And we invite you to continue to forge your legacy here and beyond with us week to week. And as you do that, always remember to keep searching. If you want to hear a little more of this conversation, feel free to join us on our Patreon, where we dissect and expand a little bit on some of the titles that we discussed today and on what legacy sequels mean to us.